Alright, the real power of spreadsheet programs is to make automatic changes to your files. Often these changes are to numbers. If you own a business and the cost of your supplies goes up, you're probably going to have to raise the prices you charge customers. In other words, when the cost of your supplies goes up, the price of your products goes up. And as a business owner, you have to keep track of all that stuff. Let's look at one example of how spreadsheet programs do work for us. Let's go to https://docs.google.com/spreadsheets. And let's create a new spreadsheet. And let's name it something. Let's just name it a line. Imagine people are waiting in line for something. Maybe they're waiting for concert tickets or something. And let's say someone put you in charge of keeping track of what position everybody is in. Who's first in line, who's second in line, who's 44th in line. You could keep track of this in a Google Doc or a Microsoft Word doc, or you could even write it down on a notepad. But if you're lazy, like me, you'll choose an app like Google Sheets because you can get Sheets to do much of your work for you. Also, if you ever have to do any changes, that's where Google Sheets is really going to save you a lot of work. So let's see. Let's say that there's a bunch of people waiting in line. And let's say these people are waiting in line. And here's their name. And here's their number. Now, one way you could keep track of their numbers by just typing in 1, and going down here and typing in 2, and typing in 3, etc., etc., etc. In fact, let's go ahead and do that first. Now, you could go in here and type every single number, but the computer is smart enough. If you do 1, 2, 3, 4, and highlight 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you click on this little autofill box, click it and hold it and drag it down to the bottom, it'll fill in all those numbers for you. But it only does that when the numbers are predictable. So if you're not doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., it can get, sometimes it doesn't work. Now the problem with something like this is, what if Fauquon gets out of line? Fauquon is number 6. Let's say he gets out of line for something. So let's delete this row. Well, now look what happens. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, etc., etc. George isn't number 7 anymore. Fauquon got out of line, so now George is number 6. And that means Malaysia is number 7, and India is number 8, etc. And again, we can use autofill to make changes. That's one of the ways we can save ourselves some work. But another way we can save ourselves some work is by using formulas to determine these numbers in the first place. Now, what do I mean by formulas? Formulas are statements that you type in to get the computer or the spreadsheet to do a calculation for you. If you think about it, the first person is always going to be number 1. And the person behind them is always going to be this person's number plus 1. So for Beyonce, let's type in a formula. We always start formulas with an equal sign. That's how we tell the computer, do the math for me. So, hey computer, do some math for me. I want you to take the value in B2 and I want you to add 1 to that. I'm done with my formula, so I'm going to hit enter. And look, it gives me the number 2. And I could say that for all of these cells. All of these cells are the number of the person in front of them plus 1. So this one would be B3 plus 1. So equals B3 plus 1. Enter. This one is going to be equals B4 plus 1. Enter. Now, you don't have to type all of the formulas into all of these cells. What you can do is you can autofill. Oops. Just like we did before. And this one should be B2 plus 1, this one should be B3 plus 1, B4 plus 1, B5 plus 1, etc. Now what happens if we delete number 7? Let's say George gets out of line, or he just decides he wants to go do something else. We can delete George. Uh-oh. I'm surprised that happened. I'm surprised the computer isn't smart enough to figure out what I just did there. But it's not. It's missing. Remember, we said take that other cell, take that other the number of the person in front of you, and add 1. And now George is missing, and the spreadsheet is getting confused, and it's saying, where's George? All we have to do is tell it Elijah is in B6. So we just got to put B6 back in there. And that fixes it. Now someone got out of line, and as soon as we put in B6, now look, it adjusted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, etc. Okay? So that's one way you can get the computer to do some work for you. Let's take a look at another example. Let's say you're the manager at a popular restaurant, and all of a sudden the cash register breaks during your busiest time of the day. You need to give your customers their bills. Fortunately, you have a computer with an internet connection. So you quickly type in https://docs.google.com/spreadsheets. And you create a new spreadsheet. And you name it cash register or whatever. And so you quickly set up a spreadsheet and you say table 1. Alright, well there's person 1 at table 1, person 2 at table 1, person 3, and person 4. Now you're going to put all of the things that person 1 ordered on this row. So let's say they had a soda and that was $2.50. Let's say they had a hamburger for $7. And let's say they had ice cream for, well, geez, sometimes dessert is just as much as the meal, right? Let's say $6.50. And let's say person 2 had, I don't know, maybe they had a coffee for $1.75. Maybe they had chicken tenders for $11 and no dessert. Now you need to add up all of the items that person 1 had and give that number. And then you need to add up all the items that person 2 had and give that number. And then you need to add up all of the totals for all of the people to get the total for the table. Let's go, I don't know how many, one person could order like 5 or 6 items. So let's go way out here. And let's say these are going to be our totals. And I'm going to tell the computer to add up all of these numbers by using the equals sum function. That's going to give me a sum of whatever cell addresses that I put in here. Now I could put B1, what is this, B3. I could put in B3 plus C3 plus D3, etc., etc., etc. And then click enter. And it says that these 3 numbers are 16. But a better way, if you want the computer to just add up all of the numbers in a row, if you want it to add up all the numbers in between B3 and H3, then you can just type B3 colon H3. And it's going to add up everything in between B3 and H3. Hit enter and it should still be 16, and it is. In fact, if you put something else in here, if you put 1 in here, then it would go up to 17. So this is your total for person 1. Now you need to do a total for person 2. But guess what? After you've already set up the basic structure, if you've taught the computer how to do the math, all you have to do is press Control copy and then Control V for paste. Now look at that. We highlighted 17, we copied it and we pasted it, and it automatically put 1275 up there. Why did it do that? Well, because we weren't copying 17, we were copying this formula up here, equals the sum of B3 through H3. Now why is it B4 through H4 down here? We didn't type that in. This is such a common operation in Excel that it knows that you want to use the same math that you used for person 1, but you don't want to use the same numbers. So it copied the formula, but it used the numbers for person 2. See how smart the computer is? And then we also need to Control C for copy and paste for person 3 and paste for person 4. And now whenever we type in anything in here, 5 plus 3 is going to equal 8, and 4 plus 6 equals 10. Now we need to do the total for the whole table. How are we going to set that up? Well, we just need to add up these numbers for all the people, right? So equals sum. Let's sum I3 through I6. Enter. And it should be all of these numbers added together. Does 4775 make sense? Yeah, I think so. Now, if you're working at a restaurant, the next thing you need to do is you need to calculate the tax. How do you calculate the tax? Well, in order to calculate the tax, you need to know what the tax rate is. And in LA, I think the tax rate is 9%. So you're going to put an equal sign, and then you're going to put the table total times 9%. And hopefully you remember that 9% is the same as 0.09. 9% is the same as 0.09. That's how you would type that into a calculator. But the computer doesn't know what table total is, so we have to tell it where to find it. Table total is in I7. So the tax equals I7 times 0.09. And does that make sense that if the bill was $47.75, the tax would be $4.29? Yeah, I think so. Now you could stop there, but I've noticed that at a lot of fancy restaurants, they're starting to help people. They know that people don't want to get out their phone to calculate the gratuity, also known as the tip. So what a lot of restaurants are doing is they're putting the common gratuity percentages down at the bottom of the bill to help the customer. And it's really easy to get Excel to do that for us. So let's say gratuity. And maybe they want to leave 15%. Maybe they want to leave 18%. Or maybe they had really good service and the customer wants to leave 20%. All we need to do to get the computer to do that math is equals the bill total, which is I7, times 15%, which in decimals is 0.15. 18% equals I7, the bill total, times 0.18. And 20% equals I7 times 20. Now, do these numbers make sense? Yeah, of course. 18% is a little bit more than 15%, and 20% is a little bit more than 18%. And you could print this off and give it to the customer if your cash register was broken. Now, every restaurant has more than one table, pretty much, right? Once you have set this up, did that seem like a lot of work to you to set this up? Well, maybe. But once you've set this up, you can just copy it, Control C, and paste it, Control V. And now for table 2, all you got to do is erase these values, because I'm sure the people at table 2 ordered different things than the people at table 1. Maybe this person maybe this bill looks something like that. And that's all we have to do. This has already been calculated. 2 plus 3 equals 5. That's the person 1 owes $5. Person 2 owes $5. Person 3 owes $10. And the total bill should be $20. The tax is 1.8. And here's the suggested gratuities. And you can copy this as many times as you need to. Control C to copy. Control V to paste. Now this is table 3. Whatever. Oops, delete. Now there's one last thing I want to talk about, and that is relative positions in formulas. When we copied table 1 and we pasted it and we made table 2, it just worked. Even though if you go into these formulas, if you look at them, if you click on this cell, it changed our numbers. The computer changed it. It was originally, let's see, person 1 at table 1, that was the sum of B3 through H3. But when we copied it down here, person 1 now, the formula is the same, but it uses different cell addresses, B16 through H16. And the reason it does that is because up here, it basically figured out, oh, the numbers that I need to add together are to the left of this cell. So add all the numbers together to the left and give the result here. And when we copied it down here, it said, oh, I want to use the same math, but I want to use different numbers. So I'm going to get my numbers just like from person 1. I'm just going to go out to the left here, and I'm going to add up all the numbers out to the left. And when we copied and pasted it down here, same thing. It figured out that we're just using the numbers on the left, adding them together to get the result in this box. Now that can get a little confusing. Let me open up a sheet here. What if the numbers we're adding together, let's say 1 plus 1 plus 1. What's 1 plus 1 plus 1? It's 3, right? But what if we were to put our formula down here? Equals the sum of C3 through E3. What do you think we're going to get when I hit enter? Well, it's showing you right here. Look at this orange outline. It's showing you the numbers that it's going to add together. It's going to add those ones together and we should get 3. And we do. So what if I put 2, 2, and 2 here? And I want to display the sum out here to the right. Can I just copy this, Control C, and paste it right here? What do you think I'm going to get when I hit Control V? Do you think I'm going to get 6? Well, I got 0. Why did I get 0 instead of 6? Because the computer thinks that what I want is not the numbers out to the left, but the numbers up 1 and out to the left. And so now if I hit Control V here, what do you think is going to happen? I'm going to get 6. Because it thinks I want to go up 1 and add the numbers out here to the left. So be very careful when you're copying formulas. The computer is going to go up and down based on the pattern you set at the beginning.